clear about the concept of it's not all about us and what we think and what we want and what serves the greater collective, as opposed to the individual ideas about what's a good idea. And that has to be the admin, because they're the ones working their guts out every day. And then with thousands of people saying, well, I think it should be like this, or I think it should be like that. It's the ones who are doing the work that have to make a decision and give it to everybody else and say, this is how it is. And it's fine if you don't like it. You don't have to be here, but this is how it is. So the ones doing the work, I think, really have to work out those rules and get them written up of engagement, which also one of the things I said is, what is a naysayer? What is a naysayer and what does that look like? With a lot of people who are identifying as light workers and who potentially have a very strong feeling about being positive, and yet at the same time, we're walking in a world that is just grieving, absolutely grieving. And so the capacity for people to express sorrow or express healthy anger, or how they do that without it becoming too light. Which also leads me to the other thing that I wrote, which is there a spiritual, for instance, I'm thinking about perhaps Christian women in those 18,000, or grandmothers that aren't spiritual or galactic or working in those sorts of areas, that they too feel welcome, or that they too feel that they could talk about their things or their grief. I live in the East Kimberley, very, very remote, very much both the trauma centre and the rich, extraordinary culture centre of my country. Yeah. And so there are a lot of grandmothers with a lot of grief and trauma.
A lot of trauma, yeah, I know.
That they may want to express.
Absolutely.
So, and the only last thing I wrote was about men. I think it needs to be really clear. Is it a grandmother's group? In which case, it's the place for women to be with women. Or is it open, in which case it's not a grandmother's group? So that's all. They were my thoughts that I was.
Yeah, no. Thank you.
Yeah, so in response to that, Suzanne and I talked about that this morning also. And Suzanne and I were in agreement. We haven't spoken with Michelle about this, that, grandmothers are the guides to everybody. They wrap their arms around everyone. And while we are the Global Grandmothers Council, everyone should be able to get wisdom from the council. Everyone should be able to reach into the council for guidance. And so the grandmothers put their arms around the grandfathers and the sons and the fathers and the mothers and the daughters. This is grandmothers encircle us and hold us dear. So while there was one post I saw that a man posted. It was a post that he put about a woman he's working with and the work they did in the Arizona schools. And that was reported several times. And I let it stay because, yes, the man posted it, but it was a collective work with the both of them working with youth in Phoenix. And I thought that was important. And we all have masculine and feminine within us. I have a grandfather guide as well as I have a grandmother guide. And I don't know, that's my take on it, is that we need those men to have their own grandfather's council. Yes, they should, but they're not ready yet. There aren't enough of them yet. And it's going to take us first.
A big healing to take place. And an acceptance. May I just add in here, thank you very much, Mayana. I hope that resonated with those that are here at this time, and it will ripple outward. Also, that the grandmothers are non-judgmental. That's what we love about our grandmothers. They accept us with love for whatever we are, whether we're Christian, whether we're Buddhist, whether we're atheist, agnostic, whether we're galactic, whether we're, naturalists, whatever form, they're the ones they nurture come in, just as we don't judge what insects or what with colored horses or, we just love all of the creatures. So yeah, we are all life, and all life needs to be respected, validated, seen, understood, helped, healed, and loved. Sherry Boland or Carol
No,
Schaefer?
could I just say to that, I
Thank
think
you.
all of that is an absolutely, it just needs to be made clear, because I think a lot of people will leave. And I think that it's not, from my position, judgment. Boundaries are not judgment. Boundaries
Thank
give clarity and give shape to a group. And if the boundary is that men are welcome, it's going to create a very different environment. And that's fine. But I think it's just something, again, that we need to state very clearly.
I,
Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
I,
So people
I
know.
I hope you can stick around and just see if that happens or not. At the moment, we have 2%. So
Yeah,
just
2%
at point of
of
view, 2% at the moment, Fiona, is what it is. Yeah, I think
I don't
Sherry
know
Bolt.
what you mean by 2%. Sorry, I
Oh,
didn't understand what that meant.
we have 18,000.1 members. Of that, there are 2% that are male or
Mm.
registering at this point. Yeah.
and the process of trying to weed through who is a man and who is a woman, that's a huge thing. And some people have spectrums of that. And that's a task that I personally cannot comprehend. I don't know whether that name means it's a man or a woman. How do you really know? And how many hours do we have? So that, to me, the 2% of men who are in there, most of the comments we get are not members. The comments from men who are pleased, saying the spam, and they comment, "Oh, send me a friend request," and "Oh, you're so beautiful," and all that stuff. That's things that's on Facebook everywhere. We need to ignore that. We need to ignore that. We need to just report it. Let us know. We'll ban them. We'll delete them. They'll get a new thing, but we'll still.
Rise,
That's all we
rise
can
above,
do.
rise above it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
Thank you.
website, the website is the key. That the Facebook group will feed people to the website, and it's the legacy leaders of the global grandmothers who will be the first to be featured on the website as we grow and as we develop this place, because we've been looking. Facebook's not the place to do a lot of the things we want to do, and we can't keep it as pure on Facebook. So it's great that we're gathering on Facebook and that we've come together and that this medium is here for us to do
Amazing.
this.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
But
It's a miracle.
but let's move to a place we can
Yeah. Safe
design
harbor.
a space.
Yeah. And that's right. And we honor you and see you and feel you, Fiona. Beautiful words and great wisdom and wonderful insights. And I'm reaching out to you up there in the East Kimberleys. I know the remoteness of that, and I understand what you're talking about. Many people don't, and that's another discussion I hope we have with you, that you will table and bring with us to enlighten us further on how we can help and what we can do up in that corner of the far north east of Australia.
So
Thank you.
as people come together and we're
Thank you.
gathering on the land in
Mm,
locations all over the
mm,
world, then
mm.
those groups will have their own conversations too.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
how do we should have regularly scheduled Zooms that, whether they're weekly, maybe monthly,
Mm-hmm.
weekly, I don't know, that will take a team of people also to manage
Mm-hmm.
the Zoom calls. I'm
Mm-hmm.
the administrator for Peace Production, and we have like 5 organizations under us. And this is a big job I've taken on to
Yeah.
get the global grandmothers moving. and solidified, but I can't do it forever because, you know, I can't
Yeah.
do it. And you
We-
know, we have to build a team so
Yeah.
this can grow in a healthy, natural way and continually have people coming in and support, having young people that can support the grandmothers, and all of us working together.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for saying, Mariana. Sherry or Carol Schaefer or Sherry?
Yes, I would like to go back. I'm a real task-oriented person. I'll acknowledge that up front. Extremely organized. And so my mind keeps going back to what happened to the conversation about the rules to when I go to a new group. I appreciate a list of rules. These are our rules. Can you get behind these rules? If not, maybe this isn't the group for you. So I'm wondering if you all want to do those rules, or if you, meaning you primary organizers, would like for a subgroup of 3 or 4 people, 2, 3, 4 people to work on the side, bringing back a suggested group list of rules to give you.
Yes, please. Thank
And
you.
if you would like that, I would be willing to work on that group.
Thank you,
All right.
Carol. We love you.
Okay,
we
so
love
Carol,
Me
you.
too.
Sherry,
I'd be willing to
Yes.
work on that group too.
Yes,
Oh my gosh, Fiona.
Yes.
Teresa.
thank
Teresa.
you.
Thank
yes,
you. Thank
yes.
you. Angels. Thank you. And
Absolutely.
Fiona. Teresa, Fiona, and Carol.
Okay,
Perfect. Look
great.
at the
Okay, so there's a
progress.
team.
Yeah.
So if you 3 will get together, I'll send out an email with the uploaded videos and the chats and everything. And then you can, and I'll share everybody's emails if
Cross-pollinate.
that's okay with everyone. And then you can connect and come back to Michelle and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
in
Come
maybe
back to
in a few days. Is a few days? Can we do it like Monday,
I could
Yes.
do Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm fairly free, and this time is good for me, but I understand we're running with zones. Is this time good for the other people mentioned about being in the team, the rules
Yes.
team? Because this is a good time for me.
It is for me.
yeah.
Yes. Could you also, I'm not, so it's me, Carol, Fiona, is that who's on that rules team?
3.
Did anybody else step up, or is it just the 3?
Yeah.
Well, Cat.
Just the 3.
Does that time work for Fiona?
It does. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, that's good for me.
Yeah.
So
I'm so
Tues-
sorry. I need to go, but thank you so much for
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Thank
this
you.
is
Thank
such
you.
a blessing. Thank you.
So Tuesday
are-
at 7, we'll reconvene for that. Does that sound good?
Well, in our time in Australia, and the Kimberley is a little bit different, but yeah,
Oh,
we know what time it is in our zones. Yeah.
Yes,
So they get
yes.
everyone right. You've got your own time zone sorted. Fiona, yeah, you're good. I'm
Yep,
excited.
yep.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much, mate. Can I call you mate?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
beautiful. Do we have
You
another
sure
hand
can.
up? Anyone
I
else
also
want to jump?
just wanted to say that someone asked about going off into smaller rooms. Further back in the chat, I
Yeah.
noticed,
Oh,
was that an intention to go off into smaller groups? Maybe I read it wrong, but I thought somebody had put in the chat about could we go off into our smaller rooms?
Oh, well, I don't know anything about that. So
no, whatever you think.
maybe. I don't know.
Tell
Can you
us
do
what
Oh,
that?
here we go. Can we move on to the separate streams? Oh, no, that's not it. But anyway, that is a function that we do have, and it can be really great for large Zooms where we all get shot off into little groups where we can chat and one person can bring back the thinking of the group. It's just a nice way to run it, but
Oh,
maybe not.
beautiful.
And
Sounds
it's easy, actually easy to do. It
Wonderful.
sounds a little intimidating,
Well,
but it's
you
not.
guys, you geniuses, will leave you to to do that. Wonderful.
Thank you for your guidance. We're learning as we grow. So thank you, thank you. This is a new experience for us.
Marvelous. Isn't that marvelous? What a blessing.
Okay, so moving on from the rules then,
Mhm.
the next thing that we really need to focus on is what is the most crucial thing next? To me,
Well,
the fundraising and the website is a big thing.
To
to
me,
get-
it's the fundraising, the practical. We need to get that started. And donations, we need to come up with uh, books and a structure of how that would look like. Maybe reach out. What does anyone else feel about this? To book, there are so many of us here that are authors, that have done film, that have done music, that are photographers, that have product that we could perhaps put in the store or ask for submissions.
But we don't have a store yet. So
The
we
website.
have a GoFundMe, and we could take we could take donations, but but that gets cumbersome in trying to manage getting the things out to people who donate. The story on the GoFundMe could use a lot of help because we just barely have the basics on there, and we could use help in filling out the message to people about why we're doing a GoFundMe and what we want to do with the money and how it can really support us all. Anyone have some wisdom on that aspect of it that they'd like to?
I'd love to know what the vision is from the admin and the grandmothers. Like, I'd like to know what, maybe you just giving us a short version, of what that story is on the GoFundMe and what it actually is that we are doing it for. Yeah.
We're doing the GoFundMe to build a website where to network the global grandmother councils that are on the ground all over the world. So the website would be the place where each local grandmothers council would have their own page, their own events, their own sales store, wisdom classes, whatever gifts they're bringing to the world, they can bring them to their local store, and then there's the global store that it's all in. So
That
Pam?
sounds amazing. Yeah, that
Like a
sounds amazing.
So it's like a marketplace, Fiona. It's like
Yeah.
everyone would have their own stall, if you like, or page, right?
Right.
From Finland, from Cyprus, and be on the ground in countries and areas, or in the East Kimberleys, or in Melbourne City, wherever, where we can have outreach with the dilemmas that we are facing in those areas and addressing those on the ground in those given areas.
And then also,
Yeah, I think that's, obviously we up here have a lot of grandmothers and who are taking care of children, and a lot of child removal, and a lot of the absolutely massive grief and trauma, not only from the transgenerational, but the current child removal. So that I love that idea that there are very specific grandmother, and again, up here, grandmothers might be potentially more interested in a group that's women's business. You know what I mean? There's such a strong women's business and men's business, but we can have the page, and that's so. Yeah, I would be happy to do some writing for that GoFundMe and just give it to you, and you can edit it. I mean, I think it's great if everybody chucks, whoever wants to just do a little writing for the GoFundMe, and then you can take bits of everything and put it together.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Pam would like to speak.
Yeah, and Jerry.
Go ahead, Pam.
Looking at a budget that will cover not only the main website, but the break-off websites as well? Or are you going to keep it, like the local grandmothers will have to take care of their part of the website? Because that's,
An umbrella. An
I,
umbrella.
I would think it would be one website,
Yeah,
and there may
one
be a
website.
fee, there's a fee. Probably
Yeah.
each local group would probably have to pay a fee for their page, or a
Product.
percentage of sales, or I don't know, that's
Yeah.
something we can work through, but
Yeah.
it should be one website, not break off websites, but they should all be one website. So it would be Global Grandmothers, or wherever we do it, Global Grandmothers Council / Athens, Global Grandmothers Council / Queensland,
Finland.
whatever the local group wants to call themselves, then they have their own section. And
So
in the,
basically you'd have a main landing page and then
Exactly.
other pages to break off
Correct.
from that.
and
Absolutely.
everyone who has something to offer, you can also link to their personal page,
Mm-hmm.
to their personal website, so we would have those links, like, Marcine, I know Marcine's work. She's an incredible artist that has incredible indigenous stories and paintings and curriculum. And, so we could feature a great grandmother, start with the great grandmothers and feature a great grandmother every month or every week, and feature their products on the homepage, and feature who they are and why they're there. And then feature somebody else next time, and then feature somebody else the next time.
And another
project.
thing,
Sorry.
another thing about that, when you put in the links to, say you put a link to my page,
Uh-huh.
you should require that each person that has a link going to their page has a backlink going back to the grandmother's page, because that
Yes.
creates an algorithm that keeps it popping.
Yes.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that. And of course, there would be some sort of a feedback on that to be worked out down the track, how it logistically. But that sounds like the team's on it. We've got Sherry Boland, who's had a hand up for a little whiles now. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. Good question about the marketplace, though. Mhm.
I think we're getting way into the weeds here. And I've done community organizing. I've done fundraising for community organizing.
Yeah.
And I know that when you're doing fundraising, you got to be crisp, clean, concise. What is it for? Not if we start getting so lost in the weeds, we'll lose everybody's attention.
Right.
Exactly.
We're talking right now, we were talking about the logistics of the details way down the line, but the story has to be, this is a place for us to gather, a place for the world to know who we are, locally and globally, and to be networked together. It's the network. The website is the network where the local grandmother councils can gather and be united in their efforts. And we're focusing on this day, and this day, together, all of us.
Have we figured
Can I just ask, I'm just wondering, as we're talking about this, if the website, because the website's going to be completely open to the entire world, and this is where anyone and everyone can access the grandmother's wisdom, and it's wide open. There's no restriction. I just wonder again, and I know that it could feel to the admins at this point who are working their guts out, that it would just be too hard. And no, you couldn't be 100% sure. Absolutely not. You couldn't be 100% sure that there weren't men in there if the Facebook group became the place that was just the grandmothers. But you could have, that doesn't mean that you couldn't have rules. I'm just wondering again if it's not, well, I know that it's nourishing for women to gather as women.
Mm.
I know it nourishes the whole planet when women gather. And there's something about the power and the energy of women gathering that is a gift in itself in that space, and creates a capacity for openness and trust. And there are a lot of things that you can do that the admin might be going, that's just in the too hard basket right now to even try and do that. But that's just my thought again, that the website is actually going to be wide open to the whole world.
Mm.
Can
It's
we
open to
have,
the whole world, but the people who are on the website are curated, we know who they are, or they don't
Selected.
page.
They
Yeah.
oh yeah,
select the
absolutely, absolutely. But
Yeah.
anybody can come and learn from the wisdom and peruse the
Yes.
pages is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's open in that way,
Yeah.
not who's
Yeah.
on the website, but
That's
who
right.
enjoys the wisdom. Just a thought, but
Yeah.
it's something that we can talk again in the team about rules and stuff. And in the end, the admins will make that call. So I'm not saying this with any desire to denigrate, dismiss, or remove. I work with men, they're
Okay.
precious, but I also work with and yes, we absolutely all have masculine and feminine, but I also work with women's groups, and I know the impact even on nature when women gather. So just we can talk about it, and then the decision will be made.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
We just have Rose. Thank you so much, Fiona. I'm very excited to see how this is progressing. We've just had Rose jump in. She had the same issues I did. Rose, welcome. Thank you for finding us.
Sorry, I apologize, Rose. It's been a
Welcome.
challenge here.
So hands up if anyone else wants to add further. We've just been talking about how we're progressing with admin for those that have just jumped on. And we have, is it Samara? Thank you, Samara.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. I've seen this vision for so many years, and I'm so grateful to be here. And one of the ways we used to put it was we are going to be networking the networks. So it's a network of networks. We're networking the networks.
Love it.
And yeah, I'll share more about where I'm coming from and everything maybe at another time, but I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Anybody want the chat box? Because there's been a couple of, like somebody said, is there a budget? Good question. Is there a budget?
Not yet.
Yeah. And to answer your question about chat box, I don't think so, Sherry.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
just,
good little nuggets come up there.
oh, well, we can look at them perhaps hopefully later. And
Yeah,
reach
but then
out.
sometimes the moment's passed, right?
Yeah, of course, the
So
moment's passed.
Yeah.
the budget, I put
Sorry.
$8,000 on the GoFundMe for a budget, having built websites with state agencies before. There's always more cost than you think there will be. And while, I can make a simple little website for myself, this is a complicated website that we're talking about. And it's going to take some serious technology and ability. So I put 8,000. I'm totally felt like that was a beginning, a place to begin, not a place to end. And with 18,000 members, and we do have a nonprofit, and all financials are transparent. We believe in transparency, and there will be a small, tiny portion for administration for the nonprofit out of any funds that come in. And some of our groups are 1% to 5%. And that's up to the grandmother's team to decide how much they want to pay for that. We're not going to say you have to pay this much. But there needs to be some kind of an exchange. And, everybody is valuable, and all of the service is valuable. We file the taxes. We take care of all of that. So
Yeah,
Other than that, we aren't at a point of taking salaries or asking for that. We're asking for the ability to make this work.
I just had the thought, Shuri, if you're experienced in this area or anyone else, please throw your hat in the ring here. Maybe we could have a sponsorship thing, and there could be some sort of a gifting set up if we came up with some sort of a concept for transcriptions or things that we can bring to a VIP package of some sort to focus on a specific area that works in congruency in areas of interest to those philanthropic souls that wish to have certain things addressed in their community or neighborhood, and have a focus funnel for that, as long as they come in with a little seed to inspire, as in a seed money, a little amount of some sort, perhaps.
And maybe there's another group here that we could form for budget, to put together a budget.
Yes.
Mhm.
Would
Mhm.
Are there any here who would like to be on the budget committee with me?
No, but I do have a suggestion. I really feel strongly that you'd get a whole lot more donations if we had even a broad stroke of what it would be going for. So you know on your end better than we do, the Zoom cost, of just having that. Is it the electronics? Is it equipment? As you stated, it's a big deal. And I have a feeling it really is. That's no, it really is a big deal. But for those of us who are not IT people, if you will, we don't have the first clue. But if you're going to tell me, hey, Zoom cost X amount of dollars to have this big to go all over the world, then hey, buddy, I'm pitching in right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the thing with Zoom, which we're using our nonprofit Zoom, and we pay for that anyway, so we're not
Sure.
charging for this Zoom. But to be able to have more than one administrator of the Zoom call, you have to pay for an account for each person or for a group of people, and that gets expensive. So
Sure.
that is an expense that we are not having to do right now, but that will come, because as every council has their own Zoom, they'll have that. And this is where, we need to talk about, maybe there are membership fees for the website. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways it can be structured but the finances have to be able to flow as well as the wisdom.
Sure. Yeah, it's necessary.
I absolutely agree with Rose, though, that GoFundMe has to be cut and dried, black and white. This is what we need. This is why we need it. I don't give to anything that I don't know exactly what it's for.
Right.
Yeah. Hi, Brigitte. Welcome. I just saw you on there. Lovely to see you. I don't know how long. Have you been there? Have you just jumped in, or?
No, I have been there for a
Oh,
while. My
wonderful.
internet is a bit unstable, so
That's
but,
you popped up again. So thank you for your presence.
just want to
So
say something also quickly, because I
great.
just listened, and I think everything, we are here, and all the other women who have been here on the first call and now, and the vision, and everyone comes in with a whole story and her story of a long development, of a long pregnancy, in a way, of that moment we're in now, this calling together to become visible. So I would like to bring in I have been working on what would be a feminine language and a feminine structure, right? And I know I would like to look at this moment as birthing, because we have all this history in terms of male concepts, all the structures we have been building in government and legal structures and health and education. Everything is actually not on a relational basis. It is the basic foundation is actually a structure of organized lovelessness. So what we want to bring in are structures of love in a history of organized lovelessness. This is a big task. So I just want to bring in the feminine language of birthing. And I know this is like a midwife, we wait. I mean, I know it's a paradox, but we live in a time of paradox. So I'm probably the one who's seen as slowing down the process. So I'm holding back a bit, I'm not an organizer, but I just want to be there in this background holding of a feminine.
Nurturing.
So
Thank
that's
you.
all. Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, even this Zoom, it's in rectangles.
I know, not so
We're
good.
in rectangles, not spheres.
I think Fiona put her hand up again here. Fiona, did you want to add to this conversation?
Just two thoughts. One was I am a complete technophobe, long-term recovering technophobe, and I did build my own website alone, and that was with the help of Square. Square's the platform I use, and I found their customer support was beyond compare. They would sit on the phone for me hours for days on end and walk me through. I could not have done it without them. So that's just one concept. In terms of large amounts of money, there are, and I don't know if it would be complex enough for what we're doing, but I don't know, you can have a look. It's the same as my website. I mean, my email address is sublimesomatics.com. And, you can take payments and you can do so, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know the half of what you can do on there. But the other thing is that occurs to me is a membership group where people are paying $20, $30, $40, $50 a month.
Yeah.
Now, if we have 1,000 people or even 100, if you even have 100 people paying $50 a month, what's that? That's $5,000. And that's monthly. That's a monthly income for the whole situation. And it also occurs to me that that might be one way to create the group that is just women and could leave the Facebook group open where there's a lot more admin. And, we could potentially have a membership group. And so if anybody had a problem with the men, we could just say, well, there is a membership group and you can jump on there. So I like the idea of a membership group.
I love that idea. And can I just add to that? I think that's marvelous. I think if we're mindful and we can speak to the numerologist specialists in our community, but maybe $33 US for a 3 monthly membership or some such, and that just jumps in. But that's a marvelous idea. What are our thoughts on that? You all, what do you all feel about that? Tamara and we have Tina. What do you all think of those?
Regarding
Marcia?
membership, I think a yearly membership works very well, and people have like a direct debit. And if they want to stop that membership, they have to say a month before the direct debit comes, and often people forget. So you've always got money coming in. And I've been to organizations where you just pay a yearly fee, and that works out very, very well. Because lots of people, find it difficult on a monthly, because some people don't have the money to actually.
And it goes quick. It goes so fast,
and you find, a lot of people just do not have the money to go on a monthly. But if you say, right, this is how much, say, I'm saying about euros, because I do, say 50 euros a year, and you have direct debit, and that works, and that really does work well.
Yeah, great.
And
great.
And I find on just a monthly, it's just it doesn't work. I mean, for me, it would be quite difficult to do monthly. But if I had a direct debit once a year, you've got the money coming in. So if you've got, say, 17,000 people, they all pay a yearly. This is how much it is a year. You're making money. If they forget to cancel that debit, your money's coming in for the next year.
That's wonderful. It's flowing in as it is flowing out and around. It's beautiful. A really good idea. So, yes, an annual membership of a certain amount. which would validate everyone that comes on. They can all raise their topics. In that membership would come into suggestions for topics that we would table, discuss, and implement. We would send out seeds, perhaps for local areas, of plants that would be nurturing for the garden of some sort for the children to plant. We could also take photographs of the grandmothers and or their babies, whether those are plants, their grandmothers of plants, of animals, or of children, doing nurturing things that we could focus on and share as well, and perhaps collate some sort of a music thing to have as well, a theme of music that would be a CD that we could perhaps have by donation as well in the membership for those that are gifted enough to have a musical ability.
So this is where, you know, in a fundraising campaign, there are different levels of donations. And so at this level, you can download the music playlist. At this level, you can have this print of a piece of art, or at this level you could have a service from someone. I don't know, those things, the things that can be put in there of what you can offer are unlimited, and finding the right things that appeal to people that they would want to receive it. It's just like the NPR fundraisers, you know, if you give your $75, then you get these books, you know, that kind of thing. And so, but then you have to either receive the donations from the people and have a place to store them and ship them, or everyone has to ship their own. And those are deeper questions and deeper
maybe
concerns
that's
when you get
probably
into that.
That's a digression then. Sorry. I see that as an issue. That would be more on the website thing. Yeah. Let's just do the donations initially for membership to honor and see and share with each other as a community, to establish the community.
Did we develop a team for putting together a story on the GoFundMe?
I was happy to be part of that, but I also am wondering if, was it Bridget? If Bridget has any interest in leading a team that speaks to those issues that I think are major in this group of what does it look like? I saw, I think it was Rosemary, you know, mentioned is IT and money, and rules is more of the masculine, focus. But in fact, all of those things are critical. They're not masculine in nature, but they have been done in a masculine way. And so I feel like if Bridget was open to that a team that was really looking at, and they might take time too, because part of the feminine way is sitting in stillness and allowing things to emerge and birth, rather than, sort of whipping them into being. When you think of the birthing, a woman birthing, you know, it's just like the stillness and the emerging. So I don't know. Sorry, Bridget, if I'm chucking you in, but I do feel like that would be a fabulous team. That is really what that looks like.
Yeah. I mean, but I warned you already, I will be the one who will provoke reactions of, are you slowing us down? Because living and embodying that feminine wisdom or feminine intelligence is not going, linear as we wish things go quick,
It's
so
unpredictable.
you have to see. I
Yeah.
can send
Yeah,
you
100%. And I think if you are willing to take that on, it's your role. You are going to.
I am in the middle of preparing. I wanted to invite in a conversation about other ways, mother ways, in brackets, other ways of knowing, where we actually, what the changes happen our brain, in ourselves. And I'm my story. I have been great in the boys club. I have been the patriarchal woman. I have been successful. And so I have this change from masculine power into feminine power. And, you know, I had a experience when I was nearly 40, and I became a mother then at 44. And I have this experience from moving from that power, masculine power, to a feminine power, or to actually know what feminine power is, and or the mother. And so I'm since then try to get on this how do we, and there's no language, there is no language for the new story. We have to bring that together, we have to create it together. And recently there is Ilarion Mukayev is married to an Israeli wife. She formed Wombs of, what's it called? Wombs of Peace. It's also a circle, a women's circle. And they talked about, with elders from different places, indigenous elders, about the creation of language and the language of creation. So this is where I'm coming from. But in a way, it's kind of not going the way of building something quickly. Yeah, but I'm here. I'm happy to hold a group or co-host or co-create this learning around this. Where are we with this, creating a new language around it, and that intention of that, bringing that grandmothers or that feminine wisdom into the world and make it visible, birth it in now.
Well, I'll be the third wheel, Fiona, Brigitte. I would love to be in on that with the languages, obviously. Brigitte, we spoke of this yesterday. Look at this manifesting today. That's amazingly inspired. Mariana?
We're running towards our end of time. I just want to share about that. Brigitte, thank you for that, because the things that develop, like this group, this Global Grandmothers Council, it has its own life. And our job is to nurture it and guide it. Our job is not to form it and shape it, because it has its own idea of what it wants to be, that we can help it, we can love it, we can guide it, we can surround it with everything we have. And then we have to be able to let it grow how it wants to grow too. And so how we do that, and we haven't had experience doing that in a feminine way. You know, even the mothers are patriarchal mothers, you know, so many. Yes, there are indigenous mothers who have tried to hold that, but there are not very many on the planet. And we're being called to come in a new way and to bridge a world from this world we're in to the new world. And in that bridging process, we have to have our hands on both sides. We have to hold what's here now and what we envision is the way, and be able to walk it and take the gifts and the talents and the treasures from this masculine world and move them into support of the feminine way.
Yeah, exactly. We have to sift through, absolutely. And that will take time to find the gold. It's like panning and sifting. Absolutely, man. I just saw that vision.
Okay, and I want to stay honorable to our time, and we've gone over 5 minutes.
I would like to be part of the birthing group as well.
All right.
For which one? Sorry, Samara, which one?
The vision for
yeah. Okay, that's wonderful.
Oh, thank you all so much. Oh, my heart is just so full right now. I'm so grateful for every bit.
And the practical, yes, yes, Sherry.
So I too have worked in in the male world. And I have a lot of that energy already. I'm very proactive. So what I'm seeing right now, what I'm hearing right now is we were talking about how to
Shift,
promote
change.
on the GoFundMe.
Mhm.
What's the wording there that will actually get people to give money? And
Yeah.
now I'm hearing something else which I totally respect, but I don't think it's the way to get money. And that's the whole birthing from a feminine.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
see two conversations going on. How do we set our GoFundMe so that we get some money in here? And how do we set a new language around it? That's going to take a lot more time.
That's the bridging. That's the
I will
bridging.
help that. I will
Yeah.
help with the bridging. And Mariana, you and I will help with the bridging on both teams and feed that through, I think. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sherry, for calling us out there. We have to be practical. Yeah, it's true. Thank you.
Shall we create, well, I'm going to send out all the emails, and I'm glad to have
Thank
group
you.
emails where we communicate
Mhm.
with everyone. I think that's a good
Mhm.
thing too, where we
Mhm.
reply all and have
Mhm.
conversations about what we're
Mhm.
doing and how we're moving
Mhm.
forward.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
And Rosemary, did you want to add anything else in there? No, you're good. They were good. Great. You like it all? It's all good. Great.
okay. Thank you all so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Deep
Thank you for seeing.
respect, deep love.
Yeah. See you next Zoom, hopefully, or on internet.
Much love to all. Farewell.